Welcome to the Earn More, Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Syson, and my co-host for this season 2, Hayley Hudson. This podcast is for self-employed business owners just like you who really want to grow their business and become successful and profitable and without all the stress and hassle. We want to share over 50 years of our business experience to show you how simple it can be to earn more money and how you can get organised without needing a business degree or any other qualification. We'll be talking about the easy steps that you can put in place right now to start earning more money today and to help you get the business that you deserve and dream of. So without further ado, let's get started. This week's podcast is sponsored by Pocket PA, helping self-employed business owners to get organised, understand their finances and do their accounts all in one place using a powerful online tool. If you're serious about making a profit and having a successful business, then using a simple digital app like Pocket PA is the best way to grow and scale your business. Visit pocketpa.com for more details and start managing your money like a pro today. Hello and welcome to the Earn More, Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Syson, and my wonderful co-host, Hayley Hudson. Hi, Hayley.
Hi, Caro.
So today we're going to dive into the crucial topic of self-care for small business owners. Now, self-care, I know you can't see because you're a listener, but I'm wearing bright yellow and Hayley's in her dark black top, but actually we're the opposite way around. Hayley's actually the little ray of sunshine and I have to put clothes on to make myself feel like the little ray of sunshine. But today we're going to be exploring some practical strategies for baking self-care into your daily routine. We're going to talk about setting some boundaries and how to avoid burnout. Because I think when you work by yourself for yourself, you're not getting any duvet days and you need to be on it all the time. So it's really important that your batteries are charged and you are feeling the best version of yourself that you can. And I think the only way that you can do that is by making sure that you are looking after yourself and practicing self-care. So you need to prioritise self-care for starters. I think often we're at the back of the queue, particularly if we're a small business owner, we're a mum, we're a wife or a girlfriend, a partner, and we've got other demands on our time and stuff. We're often at the back of the queue and at the bottom of the pile for actually putting ourselves first to look after ourselves. And that's physical, mental and emotional well-being. And in order for us to be able to provide the best level of service, to be able to earn the most amount of money, to be able to focus on our clients, we often forget about ourselves. So I think we want to talk today about some self-care activities, things like exercise, meditation, whether that suits you or not, hobbies, spending time with loved ones, all of those things are part of our whole self-care routine. Hayley, do you prioritise yourself? Are you good at this?
I'm better than I used to be. And, you know, we are the polar opposites on this because you're all into exercise, aren't you? And I'm like, not at all. So there you are in your yellow jumper and you do running and you do walking and all the things. And I'm like black. I want to sit on the sofa. I want to watch Netflix. No.
I think there'll be so many more people just like you than there will be like me though, Hayley. I think it's a lot. I really envy you being able to just like that sounds like self-care on its own, to just be able to veg out on the sofa. I don't even allow myself to do that very often. That's ridiculous on its own, isn't it?
Well, I don't. Well, I know because I do get that. I mean, very rarely do I actually manage to do it. But so I just tend to, I don't know, I think you end up getting busy trying to do things, don't you? Like, I don't know, I get a lot, sometimes I get stressed out about all the things I think I should be doing, not the things that I actually need to be doing. So in order to prioritize myself, I love a bath. I think, you know, don't underestimate the humble bath, you know, just especially when you're a mum, having a bath a night or even 3 baths a week, just to, you know, have 20 minutes on your own.
I just love it how you say bath and not a bath. It's just,
Bath.
it makes it sound so much nicer to have a bath.
I think bath sounds much better, but yeah, I'm from Derbyshire, so it's a bath here. We have a bath.
I love it.
So yeah, I love a good bath. I love a good facial. So I try and have one once a week, actually, if I can, which is a bit of a luxury for me. So my schedule's gone a bit crazy at the moment. So it's dropped to fortnightly, but nothing chills me out more than a really good facial. And it's like the massage. I love the massage that they do across your chest. Is it your décolleté? What's this bit here?
Décolletage or something. I don't know the formal word. Your boobs, just above your boobs.
I like to stroke my décolletage in the bath. Anyway, so but yeah, I just love that. I don't know why, but I just feel my tension melting away. I love it. I find it much more effective than a back massage or a full body massage. I've also got a membership at David Lloyd Gym, and specifically because they have a spa, and I really enjoy going to their steam room, and I like doing the cold plunge pool as well to boost my immune system. So I do struggle with my immune system. I have an autoimmune condition and I struggle with chronic fatigue. So to keep that at bay, I have to work quite hard on, what I eat. And I also do try and get outside. So although I'm not going on any hikes, I mean, I can walk, but it's a little bit like if Bridget Jones went for a walk. So it's, I like to have the outfit, all the gear and no idea, that sort of thing. So, I've just bought a very nice waterproof and windproof jacket, but it's a designer one because I couldn't possibly wear one that was, like one of those walking people. So, yeah, so I do struggle with that a little bit, but I do like a
I
facial.
love it that you do actual physical things to help your body, whereas I'm out there pounding the streets. I'll book a tennis session in or something. I see those things as self-care, where I can actually, because I'm not
They
particularly
are.
sociable, I kind of double up and think that going to tennis where I've got to play with some other people and talk to other people is actually a social event for me. So I will book tennis, I'll go to pickleball, I will run with a girlfriend because it means that we can catch up and run for an hour instead of sitting in Starbucks eating cake. We're actually burning calories and chatting.
You can run and talk without dying. Oh my God, who are you?
That's the absolute rules.
Oh, right.
If
Okay.
you can't talk when you're running, then you're going too fast
Yeah,
in my book. So we have to be able to talk at the same time. So yeah, but that for me is self-care. I feel that doing those things, that's me time because I'm choosing to spend my time as I want. And the fact that I choose to release those endorphins, that is actually really important for me. But I think when you're thinking about your overall self-care, I think one of the things that we perhaps don't focus on is actually boundary setting. And boundary setting is a massive form of self-care because that enables us to protect and maintain our work-life balance. It stops us from overextending ourselves. And we've previously talked about boundaries on another episode. So have a wee look back and see when Hayley and I were talking about boundaries, particularly like when Hayley only took 2 weeks off because her online booking diary got so ahead of her. That's something that you have to enforce to be able to make sure that you do get holiday and downtime. But I think other boundary setting things are establishing designated working hours, making sure that you're not sort of spreading your work into home life and over stretching the time that you're actually taking away from loved ones and family members and your kids and things by continuously answering the phone or responding to emails and messages and stuff when you should be just having downtime and enjoying time with them at home. I think limiting your work related communications outside of those hours and taking scheduled days off. Those are all really, really important things. So boundary setting is a really important aspect and element of self-care. Hayley, how do you communicate your boundaries with clients or those you work with? What do you do?
I make sure that it's in my policies and my contracts that I send out what my availability is and the hours, especially now I'm, doing more mentoring than actual clients. So I make sure that it's very, very I'm very transparent about it. I offer within my mentoring packages, I offer one-to-one support on voice notes. So you'll have your monthly calls, but you'll also get 24/7 access to me on voice notes. Now, although it says 24/7 access, you can send me a message anytime you want throughout the day and the evening, a voice note, but I only respond once a day. So I will only respond once a day and I'll batch it. I have to, because otherwise I just have messages coming from here and everywhere while I was trying to, do the school run or, lying in bed on a Sunday morning or in my bath or, doing whatever the thing is. So I have to make sure that I've got really strict boundaries. I mean, like you've said before, with my 2 weeks off a year, actually, I didn't have online booking at that point. That was with my paper diary. I don't know if that makes it worse because I just hadn't got my holidays in. Like my husband just is really rubbish at committing to anything. So, and I like to be, involve him in decision making. I try, I should learn, I should know better not to bother asking him anything. But I'm like, when are we going on holiday? And he doesn't get back to me and doesn't get back to me. So of course my clients will be booking further and further and further along. And and then before I knew it, it was like 6 months in advance, and there you go. I'm not having any time off. But yeah, I think it's just really important. With the salon, I used to be really strict with my work hours once I've been burnt a couple of times. You just have to be boundary, because otherwise you just get every single last bit of, you know, of yourself sucked out of you by your clients. I know that's a bit graphic, but you do end up living to work, and it can be soul destroying. You really do have to do it. If you do give too much year on year out, it really does lead to burnout. I've had burnout, and it can take years to recover. It can take years, and it can, even myself now, I find it very difficult to actually commit. So if I'm launching a package or I'm doing something, I'm probably oversharing here, but the first thing I'll get a little bit anxious about, oh my God, what if I get fully booked with this? Because I have had that in the past, and what if, I don't know if I want to commit, and oh, what, 10 people? Oh, I don't know if I want to do all that. And that's because, it used to be like a runaway steam train as such, because I was just so popular. So, if you do have that, problem in place, please put some boundaries in place. But equally, if you're just starting out, it can creep up on you. You can go from trying to get all the clients, please somebody book in with me, to all of a sudden you're fully booked. And and it can be absolutely exhausting.
And I think when you start off and you say, as you're new, and gosh, a client's messaged me, you've got to get back to them straight away, otherwise they're not going to book in with you. And it's about managing your clients' expectations, because if every time they message, you respond straight away, but as you get busier and busier, you aren't able to respond straight away, clients can become quite arsy if you they see that as a drop in your level of service. Oh, I always used to be able to get hold of her. She would always message me back straight away. Well, actually, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for, when you are really busy and when you are doing really well, you're going to have a lot of clients that you've trained to expect a response from you straight away at the drop of a hat, to always pick up the phone when they call you. And so make sure that you're not making a rod for your own back, and you're putting those boundaries in place to protect your space, and trying to put some systems and processes and procedures in place that are going to be healthy for you and sustainable for you long term. One of the other things that Hayley and I've spoken about before is about delegating tasks. Now, I know when you're working by yourself for yourself, you won't have the budget necessarily to outsource or bring staff on to be able to do things for you. But I want you to be thinking about some of the responsibilities and chores that you do that add to your workload, but you could outsource, that could reduce stress. So things I'm thinking about, anything where you're doing something at the moment, like domestic chores, anything where you can earn more money by paying someone less money to do the task that you don't like doing. That's a win-win. So practical examples of this might be sort of maybe some administrative duties, maybe some of the marketing efforts, maybe your social media just drains you, doesn't light you up. You might be able to find somebody just out of university, or a mum that's got some extra time on her hands, that's able to schedule your posts, to do some of your content creation. And if you're earning more money in your business and you're doing what you love, then it's a no-brainer to pay somebody a lesser amount to be doing some of those tasks. It might be the ironing, it might be a little bit of cleaning around the house, that sort of thing. Rather than you spending time doing it, paying somebody between 15 and 20 pounds an hour, whatever that rate is, if you can be earning 50 or 60 pounds, then it's a no-brainer to give away that responsibility. That's kind of the positives about delegating. Hayley, do you delegate those sorts of things?
I do, yes. I really wish I'd delegated sooner. I've got a fab VA, and she does a lot of my onboarding and contracts and invoices and stuff like that. You have to be really careful not to create a bottleneck in your business, especially when you are busy. Sometimes you can become too busy, and so busy that you actually don't have the time to get the support that you need. I know I was trapped in that cycle for a while. I was just so busy. I just hadn't even got the headspace to try and bring somebody on and show them what I needed them to do. But, in hindsight, I really wish I'd done that. As you've said, if you're hiring somebody that's, cheaper than, less money than what you can generate, get your head around it sooner rather than later. Because honestly, you think you're saving yourself, 20 quid. But like you say, if you could be doing £150 colour service in that time, just get on with it.
Yeah, delegating is definitely a form of self-care. So perhaps, just dip your toe in the water just to begin with, and just try a task out. We're not expecting you to contract somebody in and onboard them and employ them in 5 minutes. We're just suggesting that perhaps you outsource something, 1 or 2 tasks for a couple of hours, and just see how it feels and see how much lighter you feel. It's often the thought or the idea of that task. And when you've allocated it to somebody else, you actually just think, oh gosh, I don't have that rub and that stress and that anxiety. So that's a massive form of self-care. One of the other things that I really advocate is scheduling regular breaks. Now, I think it's important, not just holidays, and, everyone loves a good holiday and something to look forward to, but I'm talking about small micro breaks, regular breaks throughout the workday, throughout the week, where you can actually rest and recharge and avoid this, this heading into burnout. Because unless we actually take a moment out just to reflect, just to breathe, just to get some fresh air or whatever, it's really difficult to just power through 6, 8 hour, 10-hour days non-stop, week in, week out. It's just not going to work for you, and it's not going to be great for your physical health. It's not great for your emotional health, and it's definitely not great for your clients either. So it's not great for your overall business. So I really recommend taking short breaks in between client appointments if you can, or after every few, and dedicating specific times during the day for some uninterrupted chill time, just breathing out. Hayley, what do you do to make sure that you take breaks during the day? What actually helps you recharge the quickest? What are your techniques?
So I do actually like to go for a walk in the day, despite everything that I have said earlier. I've got a dog, so Ginny likes a lunchtime walk, so we'll go off and we'll do that. I actually find walking around the sort of the estate where I live, I enjoy that more than going down to the fields, believe it or not, sometimes, because I think if you're breaking up in the day, although it's nice to get out to the countryside, and I do live near the countryside, but by the time I've gotten to the countryside and then walked, it's too long out of my day, and sometimes I've found that makes me even more stressed, because I've taken too longer out. So I've started just, going around doing a bit of a pavement walk, and that's been quite nice. And also because I still live very close to where I grew up, sometimes I bump into somebody that I've not seen for years. And the other week, I had to nip into the corner shop, which was really nice. And I'd not been in there since, oh my God, I think I was 12 the last time I went in there. So it was really nostalgic. I've been really enjoying that lately. The other thing that I do, which sometimes people get a bit concerned about this, but I wake up super early sometimes. And some people will be like, oh my God, is that even healthy? And I can assure you that I do go to bed quite early. So I get up sometimes at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, but I will wake up naturally as the birds. If the birds are going, I'm a light sleeper. I wake up with the light and the birds. So I'm not setting my alarm, but I do tend to naturally wake up, especially in the summer months. I know everybody looks horrified. I can see you looking
The
horrified.
listeners can't see the horror on my face.
I know. Well, honestly, I am healthy and I am getting 8 hours of sleep a night. So just so you know. But I like that because then I'm done for mid-morning. So, I can go to the spa, I can have my day to myself. I know everyone thinks I'm bonkers, but I'm done work from like 10:30, 11:30. If I want to call it a day, I can call it a day. So, especially now I'm a mother and I've got multiple businesses, and I'm fortunate to have created a life where I can take my son to and from school, and I can go on school trips, and I can adjust my schedule accordingly. And although I don't really do hair now, I've crafted all this time by being disciplined in my hairdressing business and creating passive income that enables me to do this. So, I know everyone again thinks I'm bonkers because I get up so early, but because I can do that, it actually gives me so much more me time. And then, like we were saying earlier, I suppose that's my self-care. That is my self-care secret. Make sure you're getting good sleep. Don't go to sleep at like 11 and midnight and get up at that time. But if sometimes I'll be so tired from the day, and my little boy goes to sleep at like 7:30 or 8:30, 7:30, sorry. But by 8:30, I can be asleep. I've done my thing, but I've been to the spa. I've been in the sauna, I've had a nice time, and I've topped my cup up, and because of obviously having to fit my life within the school run, that's how I do it, and it keeps me happy. So I think for anyone who just wants some more breaks and they can't, just please factor them in, and your clients will work around your schedule. Once you've got that loyal clientele, they'll definitely work around you. Don't be fearful that they won't. And if you feel that you can't afford to, so I have a training that actually teaches you how to earn an extra £1,000 a week. So in that, I talk about hairdressing, but it really can be used for beauty and all service-based industries. So it's about working no harder than you're already working, and it's about doing that in the same amount of hours that you're doing. So there's no more hours, there's no working any harder, and you can generate an extra £1,000. And I promise you, if you've got that level of income that brings you security, you can start having a few more boundaries with your clients, and and taking back that power, because I think it can be a little bit of a power balance. And I think the only reason that we give that away to our clients is usually because we're worried about where, how we're going to pay our bills. I think most of us would have boundaries in there if we felt that our income was predictable.
Yeah, we'll definitely put a link to that in the show notes, Hayley. So just to recap, we've already, it goes without saying, you need to be eating well for self-care. You need to be nourishing your body with what you're eating. Hayley's mentioned sleep, how important sleep is. Sleep is such a great boost and a reset. I definitely love sleep and need at least 8 or 9 hours every night in order to function daily. I think fresh air, just some exercise, doing something to change your state, getting the endorphins and the blood flowing, that is always good for us. Taking regular breaks. But also, I just wanted to touch on here because I know mindfulness and stress management techniques like meditation, they can also really help you with your daily stresses and preventing burnout. Now, mindfulness has become very popular, especially since COVID, where we're talking a lot more about our mental health. Meditation, journaling, deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, all of those sorts of things. I'm not a great meditator. I don't find my brain is good at switching off, and that's probably the very reason why I should stick with it and try. I do have an app, Calm or whatever it's called, and I do try and plug it in, particularly when I'm feeling particularly stressed, but I don't have it as a regular routine type thing. I do journal a little bit from time to time, but again, I often feel like I don't have enough time to journal and do those things. And I think deep breathing exercises are one of those things I just do in the car before I'm either going to a meeting or something. So I touch on a little bit of each of those. Hayley, do you meditate or use any of those stress management tools? Do they help? Do you use them?
I'm not the best at it either. Do you know, and you've just mentioned Calm, and I've got the subscription. In fact, I've got the subscription for my whole team, and I'm thinking I should probably cancel it because it's not going to happen, is it? I really should cancel
Cancel
it.
it or use
I
it.
know. Well, I mean, I keep thinking I'm going to use it, and honestly, it just doesn't happen, or I use it for a short period of time. I listen to it in the bath, actually. Funny you should mention that sometimes. So I'll have a bath and I'll listen to my Calm. But then sometimes because I've been on my phone all day, with work, I just don't want to be anywhere near my phone. So the silence can be quite freeing as well, can't it? Sometimes you don't want to have a guided meditation. You just want to be quiet. So my mum is amazing at this sort of thing. So she's always been into alternative therapies, and she's a Reiki healer, and she does crystal healing and all of the things. As I grew up, I had very, very interesting upbringing. So we used to go to monasteries and things and do the chantings, and there's a lot that people don't know about me. So I was brought up meditating and things like that. So I still don't do it, but I do practice mindfulness. So most days I will at some point just be very present in my thoughts and my surroundings, and like I say, listen to the birds and the nature and things. So I'm really fortunate that my back garden is full of birds, and I can hear a lot of the nature sounds. So I think sometimes it's just doing the simple things, isn't it? And just zoning everything else out, and just being mindful in that moment can be powerful. Sometimes you don't have to go upstairs and find a meditation and do all the things. Just take a moment and be still.
Yeah.
And do it on the fly.
I think I get that when I go out running because I don't often have headphones in. Sometimes I listen to a podcast, but more often than not, I will actually just connect with the ground and the noise around me and the environment that I'm in. I'm always looking around and seeing. I'm very lucky to live in the countryside, so I see green fields and I get to connect with nature that way. So I think there is something very grounding about being outside. I often go to sleep with gratitude, thinking about gratitude, things that I'm grateful for, and I count them up on my fingers. So anything that's happened during that day, I start counting on my fingers, and I can often get to 20 or 30 things that I feel grateful for. I mean, I count even the smallest things, just connecting with someone, having a conversation with one of my kids that day. I'm grateful for all of those things. And I often drop off to sleep having counted, as I say, 20 to 30, sometimes even more. And before I know it, I'm fast asleep. So I think gratitude is one of those mindful things that can also really help you and connect you and remind you how lucky we are. And I tend to focus on the good things rather than think about all of my list of things that haven't gone so well. I think it's better to do it that way round. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening to some of the things that Hayley and I have suggested for self-care. I think there's a whole range of things that you can be doing and implementing. And if you felt that that was a big shopping list of stuff, just pick off one or two of them, get started with a couple of them and try them on for size and see how they feel. It might have been a reminder or a jog to you to actually start putting some of those boundaries in place, maybe reminding yourself that you need a bit more sleep or to have a bit of you time. But whatever it is, just make sure that you take a little bit of action after today's podcast and put yourself front and first and foremost, because no doubt you will probably always be putting other people in the front of the queue for that sort of thing. So thank you for tuning in to the Earn More Stress Less podcast with me and Hayley Hudson. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, and continue striving for that balance and that good work-life balance that we all look for. Let's catch up again soon. So bye from me and bye from Hayley.
See you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening today to the Earn More Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Syson, and my co-host Hayley Hudson. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then do hit subscribe so we can catch up again soon. And please kindly leave a review if you've got a moment and share with anyone else that you think this podcast could help on their self-employed journey. If you're ready to make bigger breakthroughs in your business life and want to get way more organised and understand your finances the really simple way, then start your very own 14-day free trial today using the super powerful software tool Pocket PA that I made for my own son and daughter. Go to pocketpa.com/podcast and let's get you on the way to earning more money and stressing much less. Have a great week, whatever you're doing.